Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world.
In order to get to Darwin, the last 100 or 150 miles, there's two options. You can either go through a gulf, it's a bit of a shortcut. It's called the Gulf from, I think, from Diemers, something, it's a Dutch name. Or you can go around the point, which is 90 miles further. So we've been sailing quite a few days and we'd like to get there as soon as we can. So we're probably going to opt for the shortcut. However, the currents through the Gulf is quite hectic at the entrance and the exit. So you have to time it just right, and at the moment it's spring tide, so you do get currents of up to 4 knots. So if you have that against you, you're going to struggle to make any progress. And if the wind is also blowing against that, it creates these steep waves. So we are about 50 miles from the entrance of the Gulf, and we've read all these books that say what the timing should be when you get there to make it out the other side in one tide. Otherwise you have to anchor somewhere in the Gulf, and we are going to go through the biggest portion of it at night. So we are trying to push as hard as we can so that we get at the mouth of the Gulf at the right time while we still have the current flowing in. So we're either going to just make it or not. At the moment the wind is a bit fickle, but even if we are 1 or 2 hours late, I still think we can make it because the tides are so strong. Once we're in there, we're going to make good speed because we have the spring tides with us. So holding thumbs, we can make it in a reasonable time and get in.
That's huge!
Okay, get ready.
Yes! Wow! Yes, yes.
So we just caught quite a big wahoo. It's the biggest one we've had since 2 in the Atlantic only. This one I didn't even know it was on the line, so I just saw something starting to drag, and yeah, quite a big boy, and we love wahoo.
We've been sailing as much as we can, trying to stay as close to the wind as possible, or close to the best wind angle as possible. And it's a dead downwind at the moment. We've been close reach, broad reach, everything in between. The wind seems to turn a lot around this area, but we're staying on top of it. It looks like we're going to be an hour late to the start point, but we've reworked the math and that'll still be okay. Rather than waiting for tomorrow where there'll be very little wind to get around the get through the passage. There'll be no wind down there, so rather keep going and push for today and hope that the spring tide gives us a little bit of extra oomph in the tides. We saw these brown lines for miles before reaching Darwin, and someone told us that it's nutrients in the water, but it looked like an oil spill to us. So what do you think? We're at the turning point. We're either going straight into the tidal currents to start our journey to Darwin, or we have to anchor.
I think we should go. Tomorrow there's less wind, so we must just gun it. We'll have good speed.
Okay, we'll be a little late, but we're gonna do it. Not too much.
At the moment it's looking good. We're about 10 or actually 8 miles from the Dundas Strait, the entrance. We should have been there maybe an hour ago, but we are doing more than 8 knots speed over ground now because we have the current and the wind has actually picked up a bit. So it's all looking good. I'm glad we actually decided to go.
Oh, the wind has changed. It's all over the place, and it now looks like we're gonna have wind over current, and the NOAA's flapping all over the place. So we've motor sailing now, and we really hope the wind shifts again because we don't want wind over current. Damn, Darwin, you're making us work for you. Gee whiz, 'cause the wind's all over the place, current's all over the place, but we're getting through. What does your calculation say? Are we gonna make it?
So I've got a few scenarios here, but we're working on a 7 knot speed average, speed over ground. I've got a 5 knot and a 6 knot as well. So the one critical point that we need to reach, where the current starts flowing in our favorable direction at 10 o'clock tonight, we'll be there according to our calcs now at 10:30. So that's just half an hour, and that puts us in a good position to get through the other exit of the Gulf before the current turns.
Oh, all the scenarios. It helps to have someone that's good with math. I would have probably just winged it. We're putting in a reef for the night to make sure we don't get overpowered with the wind. Track!
We've managed to make it around the first turning point. At this point the current is a little bit against us, but we can't do anything about it, but it's just 1 knot, so we have to just get through it. We have to be at the next turning point at 10 o'clock to get a favorable current, so it seems like we'll make that. We've just reached the critical turn in the Gulf, and about an hour and a half ago we lost all wind, so we were sailing nicely. We shut off the motor a few hours ago, but now there's absolutely no wind and we had to motor again. But I think our timing is good. We've reached this point and the current with us at the moment is about probably 3 to 4 knots. So our average speed over ground for the last half an hour is 9 knots. It's incredible. And we're only motoring at about 5.5 knots. So I think we should be pushed out of the Gulf with this current. We have probably, at this speed, we probably have 1.5 hours left to go.
We made it! We made it through the 100 miles through the Gulf of Van Diemen in just under 12 hours, just shy literally, so that's really great. We've got about 25 miles left till we throw anchor. This last part, the last 2 hours, we were averaging 10 knots, even though we had to use the motor because there's no wind. We really were flying, so we made it through the last tidal change without any hiccups, and yeah, now it's just throwing anchor as soon as the sun rises. It was a really tricky one, but I think we made it through well. And as the sun rises, it's time to drop anchor and go to bed. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment and subscribe would go a long way to helping us. We really are grateful for our patrons who support the making of these videos monthly. If you'd like to join them, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description below. Next week, we'll explore the Northern Territory and its surroundings.